What's up, y'all? I'm back. Had some technical difficulties, but I'm back. Normally, when people say stuff like that, they say, the powers that be was trying to shut me down. But that's not the case. Sorry about that, y'all. But I'm back. I'm back with y'all, man. Back with y'all. Hope y'all are back with me. We're talking about Shavin, Cameron, and COVID. And those three C's have been really, really active and prevalent in the last few days. And stories surrounding them have been pretty extreme. So we're going to go into it, man. We're going to go into it. I'm going to give y'all a little time to get back with me. We're going to start the process over. We're going to act like none of this never happened. We're going to pretend that this never happened, that we was right in the middle of a conversation and then we blacked out. We're going to pretend this never happened. So y'all hit that like button as you come in. And I guess we'll start it off in reverse order this time. As you come in, feel free to drop your city and your state. There you go. And your country. Salute from Sweden. SCM, I see you. As you come in, let me know where you're from. Man, okay, we done flipped over to an international crowd now. Ronnie Ricci comes in from Germany. So we straight out the gate, we got Sweden and Germany. Then we come right back to the H-Town on Homestead. What's up, Johnny? Johnny Robledo. I see you, man. Hit that like button as y'all come in, please. Be sure to hit the like button. Ron P, Virginia, I see y'all coming in, man. Sorry that I got bumped out. Remember the old school internet where you just be online and you get bumped? That's what that felt like. But it was nothing shady going on. It just some technical crap on my end. But we're not going to play around because I know that a lot of y'all, well, some of y'all, not everybody's into that sort of thing. A lot of y'all want to watch the game. Yeah. Is it all good in Houston? Yeah, Houston is all good. It's not all good, but we blessed. We grateful. There's a lot of things wrong in Houston, just like there's a lot of things wrong all over the planet. But we're definitely blessed and grateful here in the city of Houston, man. We live in a region of America that is known for being very, very racist. A lot of racial tension down here. We live in an area that is a hurricane hotbed. We live right in the region, right in the Gulf of Mexico, where we get a lot of hurricane activity potential every single year. But Houston is a very diverse city. It's a good place to live. I would never want to live anywhere else. And I'm sure a lot of y'all think like that in y'all's particular cities. Y'all are like, man, I love my city. But it's people that can live everywhere. It's people that can bounce around and they don't have any problems living in different cities. And I respect folks like that because I'm not built like that. I'm just a homebody. I like to be in my city. I like to travel. I like to go to other places around the world and around the world. But I have to be in Houston. I love being in my city. Mr. Chris, what's going on? Johnny's asking me, when can we hear some of your new music? The new music will be out, I'm assuming, about a month from now. I just did the project with the homie Big Pup. And it'll be available. When I get the information, then I will give it to y'all. I'll make sure to relay it to y'all. Because not only that project will be dropping, Inshallah, I will be dropping at least 2 more. What is October, November, December? Maybe not before the year's over with. I kind of waited too long and played around too long this year to be able to get 3 out. But early next year, we would definitely have at least 2 coming in the early stages of next year, God willing. So we're gonna get right into it, man. We lost a lot of people from the other chat, I'm assuming, but we're gonna get right into it. We're not gonna wait around. We're gonna get right into the topic, man. I see you, Big Ham, in the building. Hope you having a great day as well, my brother. Y'all hit that like button as you come in. We're talking about Derek Chauvin, who was the officer who killed George Floyd, one of the officers that killed George Floyd, and he was granted the right to leave the state of Minnesota while awaiting his trial for the murder of George Floyd. He was charged with, I think, 2nd-degree murder, 3rd-degree murder, and I think manslaughter to some degree. So with that being said, the judges and the court's ruling was based around saying that for his own safety, they're allowing him to leave Minnesota. Now, the problem I have with that, and Young PTV, I see you, man. I'm going to shoot you my email address. My email address is spckrino@aol.com. Just send me an email and we'll work it out. But the problem I have with Derek Chauvin being allowed to leave the state, and the reason that they gave, saying it's because of for his own safety, is anytime I see that, it's always a slap in the face to the victim that these officers murdered. Now, they murdered George Floyd, knee on his neck for almost 9 minutes. So anybody that would say, well, man, it's just a regular police tactic, or it wasn't murder, or anyone who was subscribed to the BS that underlying conditions caused George Floyd's death, stop it right now. Somebody employing those Israeli tactics, those Krav Maga type tactics that a lot of law enforcement in the United States have been trained to learn, some people employing those tactics, these are tactics that are designed, that are capable of killing if pushed to the extreme. George Floyd was already subdued. We've been over this a billion times. So to keep your knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds speaks to intent, because you could have long since removed your knee from his neck and picked him up, placed him in a police car, and took him to jail if you're going to take him to jail, right? So now George Floyd's safety was totally disregarded. So the individual who totally disregarded George Floyd's safety is now receiving access to be safe himself. And some people will say, well, yeah, let's let him be safe so he can await his trial so he can get what he deserves. But in this society, in this system, the way it's constituted, we don't know if he's going to get what he deserves. He could walk. He could easily walk. See, we've seen this movie too many times. So when you look at it and say, well, though, just let him walk the trial out, let him hang in there because we want to see him hang. We want to see him hang. We don't know if he's going to hang. History has already taught us that even in the midst of having video, that a court of law will basically tell us that our eyes are lying to us, that our eyes are not even seeing what we know they're seeing. Case in point, Rodney King. So I don't know if Derek Chauvin will be convicted. The charges that they actually gave him were lightweight to begin with. They were potential slap on the wrist charges to begin with. So we don't know. See? So it's not a situation where we can just feel confident. His court date is in March of next year. He doesn't go to court for like 6 or 7 months from now. Gives it enough time to kind of hit the back burner and be swept under the rug a little bit, and time allows it to be not forgotten, but kind of suppressed and desensitized. And in that regard, we don't know what's going to happen. Deals can get made, and you look up and this guy walks or gets some type of really, really lightweight sentence that's very disrespectful to the memory and the family of George Floyd. So Derek Chauvin is allowed to leave the state. He can set up shop outside of Minnesota for his safety. Well, I'm going to tell you something, man. I don't really care nothing about his safety. But I know that those who holler out, Blue Lives Matter, those who raise money for murderers and with GoFundMe accounts and all that type of stuff, they care about his safety because he's a hero to them. Shout out to Q Marshall, Sugar Ginger, Truth Hip Hop Consciousness. Q Marshall, we're talking about Derek Chauvin, Daniel Cameron, and COVID-19, 3 C's. That's what we're talking about today. Derek Chauvin, the cop who kept his knee on George Floyd's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, was allowed by the courts to leave the state while awaiting trial. And he'll be somewhere put up in a safe place where he can't receive any street retribution while they figure out a way, in my opinion, to slap him on the wrist in March when his trial comes along. San Antonio, Texas in the building. Beneath the Sewers, Vampire, Than Most. Young P, again, that's SPCKRINO at AOL. Hit me up. Sheila Fields in the building. Sheila Fields said the white supremacists are going to protect him. And they have already started that process because the white supremacists are in the courtroom. So you're absolutely right, Sheila. They're going to protect him. They're already setting the stage to look out for him. Because Blue Lives Matter. What's up, Galen? I see Galen. President Trump. What's up, President Trump? What's up, man? You recovered from that COVID in 24 hours, man. That's what we're going to next. We'll talk about the COVID situation, in particular with Donald Trump, who was given some drugs and some steroid laced treatments that he and his handlers are claiming was a miracle cure that he claims is better than what an actual vaccine could be, which don't put no stock in that because we don't put no stock in vaccines. We don't put no stock in the vaccine. We don't trust your vaccines. Wake up, black. Wake up the black nation. I see you. Sugar Ginger, you can go to southparkcoalition.net and you can purchase my book. No question. I'll put that link in the description, Truth Hip Hop, so you can get them SPC kicks. Yeah, see, here's the deal, because Q Marshall just made a great point. They raise money for these guys. See, America always criticizes the victims of police brutality. They always set this campaign up when they get out of line and unjustly kill a black person. That's when we're going to get to Daniel Cameron in a minute. And they start criminalizing them. But when their killers and murderers carry out malicious acts of murder, they raise money for them. Millions of dollars for their defense funds and all that. This is the hypocrisy of those like Sister Sheila said, white supremacist mindset individuals. Reg Junkie, man, R.I.P. to your brother, man. R.I.P. They're not giving y'all any information on what happened. He said his brother was murdered in prison on the 17th of last month, man. Now the prison won't even give them the time of day. See, and that's when they feel as though you don't have the weapons to fight. And when I mean weapons, I mean like legal weapons and the money, the long money that would be necessary to conduct a thorough investigation to find out what actually happened to your brother. Because we can't put anything past these folks. President Trump said he was given some chlorine dioxide. That's not the real President Trump, y'all. And again, it might be that dude, he's so sensitive. He might have seen some of these videos I made about him, and he had to jump in. So COVID, they're trying to work on a vaccine. I made a video about that yesterday. They came in, flying in, talking about they're going to have a vaccine either by the end of this year or sometime before 2020, sometime in 2021. Man, you would be a fool to put a vaccine in your body, in my opinion, period. Any vaccine. Let me say that now. I don't want people to think I'm pro-vax. But you would be a fool to put a vaccine in your body that the United States of America develops, and you would be the biggest fool to put a vaccine in your body that the United States of America develops in under a year. You asking for it. Truth Hip Hop Consciousness says, did everyone forget about Tuskegee? Black folks should study Tuskegee. White folks should study Tuskegee. Everybody should. Some people don't even know what happened with that. Some people don't even understand how black people have been experimented on in this country forever. So we have valid reason not to trust. And I'm speaking to the whole world, the whole country. Because there's a lot of white folks that's anti-vaccine. But it's more people that believe in the vaccines because we believe in the government. We believe in the devil. We love the devil because he gives us nothing. Y'all hit the like button, man, as y'all come in. Not a lot of y'all in here, but hit the like button. Click that like button for your big brother. I see you, George. My brother, man. Appreciate the love at the backpack drive. George, you always on the scene, man. You always there, always representing, always doing great for the community. And, man, and plus you my homie. So it ain't just about the work you do. It's just about the friendship, the loyalty. Just a good brother, man. Purity from God. That's the one and only best medicine. Beneath the sewers, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. We got to do our best to protect our vessels. We got to do our best, man. None of us are perfect in that mission. None of us are perfect in the way we eat. We all have vices. And it's nobody's place to judge anybody's vices. We just got to do the best we can and lean on each other and make each other stronger and better. We got to keep on doing that. Why am I talking fast? I don't know. Much love, Sugar Ginger. Vic Gaines, LW, Miami, Florida in the chat. Go Heat. Yeah, man, go Heat. Get 2 games at least. You win tonight, you push it to 7, you never know. But we're talking about the 3 C's, man. Derek Chauvin, COVID-19, and Daniel Cameron. Daniel Cameron is the Attorney General in the state of Kentucky who basically gave the officers who killed Breonna Taylor a pass, and he tried to flip it on the responsibility on the grand jury and saying, hey, it was all on them. Now one of the grand jurors are coming out and saying, well, hold on, wait a minute. I'm ready to tell y'all how Daniel Cameron really handled this particular case. and a lot of the information that was not submitted to the grand jury that led to them making their decision. And now that's being released. The information is being released, and Daniel Cameron's doing everything in his power to try to stop that. And for those who don't know who Daniel Cameron is, like I said, he's the Attorney General in Kentucky, but he's also a black dude. He's also a so-called brother who is working so hard to lick the boots of Donald Trump and his masses, that he has no regard for the life of Breonna Taylor. He had no regard for it. So therefore, he leaned towards his officers, and 2 were not charged, and 1 was charged with wanton endangerment, which basically means that his shots, according to the charge, his shots could have got other people hit. His charge has nothing to do with the death of Breonna Taylor, yet Breonna Taylor is dead from 6 gunshots that obviously magically came from nowhere. Because somebody took those shots. But Daniel Cameron, doing his master's work, he had to get one in. He had to show, I got to do something big to let boss know, hey, I'm with y'all, boss. I ain't with them niggers. I'm with y'all. So let me show you I'm with y'all by totally disrespecting Breonna Taylor. And then he came back and had the nerve to go into his sensitive male mode, had the nerve to get sensitive and be offended by Megan Thee Stallion's performance on Saturday Night Live. Now, before people start talking about Megan and we don't like mainstream and listen to what I'm saying. A lot of artists are waking up in social consciousness. A lot of artists are starting to fully recognize what's going on in this country as it relates to the mistreatment of black and brown people in this country at the hands of police, and then the disrespect from the court system to not even charge or convict these people. So a lot of artists are waking up. Megan is just coming out of a domestic violence situation where she was shot in the foot by her dude. So she is totally in tune now and totally in the mindset now of like respecting and protecting the black woman. And that's what she spoke about on that performance, mixed in with Tamika Mallory's words where she just was flambeing to sell out Daniel Cameron. And he had the nerve to get upset about that. He is so caught up in that twisted mindset. We just living in a day, man, you don't get to just dismiss that, where you have slapped their family in the face. Then people say, well, they got $12 million. They should have got $50 million and still pursue charges. Don't try to look at money as a justification to murdering black people. Shouldn't have took the money. Yes, you should have, and still pursue charges. So the 3 C's, man, y'all hit that like button. If you come in and you haven't hit the like button, please do so right now. I got bumped off earlier when I started the chat, and things ain't been the same since. But I wanted to get on here early. I'll be doing them late night chats. But I want to get on here early because I want y'all to chime in and tell me what y'all think about this. I know a lot of times, and I said this before, I know a lot of times that these kind of topics are not exciting to the average person. I know y'all want to hear me talk about music, and we're going to get into all that because we're going to open it up at the end. But I can't shut up and dribble. I can't shut up and rap when all of these things are taking place in this country and they are directly affecting my people, man. I can't do it. We got to speak on it. I got to bring attention to it. I got to rap about it. If y'all been following me for years, y'all know what I'm about. Y'all know what I talk about. Y'all know the things I rap about. We give y'all some shout outs real quick to people that I haven't shouted out yet. DFG, DFB. Much love, man. New York City in the building. Reg Junkie. Jay Bodega. Jason Dale in Australia. I see you, D Crimes. Ben Chanity Deloach. Man, tell your dad I say I appreciate that, man. Tell him I said number love. Q Marshall says, funny how over 200,000 have passed, but he get it and boomerang right back and not have all the issues that so many have. That was a power move to get his people to see he can walk on water. And that's been the big story with Trump. The big debate was, I made a video about this too. People are saying, did he really have COVID? Or did he not have COVID and he's faking it off as a stunt? Or did he really have it, but he just had access to more effective treatment than the average citizen has? So that's weighing in the balance. Those are the two debates. Yeah. Christopher Grant says COVID-19 is man-made. Yeah, you're right. It is man-made. Man-made, but God ordained. Man caused it, but God allowed it. What is the purpose for God allowing it? Look up the word pestilence. Mr. Thaman. He says researchers fast-track corona vaccine by skipping key animal testing for. That does not surprise me one bit. In the rush to get this vaccine out, I could see them skipping all kind of steps, not just the animal testing. I could see it. What's up, Jason Stockton? Much love. President Trump said they skipped animal testing and went straight to human testing. I can see it. I don't doubt it one bit. Continue to hit the like button for me, y'all. I don't doubt it one bit, man. You cannot trust this system. It's been proven too many times. How many of y'all are old enough to remember the cartoon Charlie Brown? If you remember Charlie Brown, just either raise your hand or give me a peace sign. Just raise your hand and give me a peace sign if you remember Charlie Brown. Because I want to break it down to you. We have a Charlie Brown syndrome here in America as people. The Charlie Brown syndrome is, I got to see how many of y'all actually remember the cartoon first. Let me see, Ben Chanity, what you want me to say? Okay, yeah. What's up, Ava? Hey, Ava, how you doing? It's your big brother, K-Rino. Yeah. But we have a Charlie Brown syndrome here in America, meaning that if you remember the cartoon Charlie Brown, that was a girl on the cartoon. Her name was Lucy. And she would always be in this field by herself, playing with this football by herself. And Charlie Brown, all he wanted to do was kick the football. That's all he wanted to do. He wanted to kick that football. And she would tell him, I'll hold the football and let you kick it. And every time he would run to kick that football, she would snatch the football away and he would fly through the air and land on his back and bust his head in his back. And he would constantly try to kick that football, and she would snatch it every time. She would tell him, I'm not going to move it this time. And he would go, you're not going to move it? Nope, I'm not going to move it. And she would still snatch that football from him and make him bust his head. That's us. That's us in America. We got the Charlie Brown syndrome, and I see a lot of y'all are familiar with Charlie Brown. That's us in America, man. We continue to believe that this government, this system is going to let us kick that football. And we take off running full speed, trying to get that kick in, and they snatch that ball and we land and bust our back every time. At what point? I got a song on my new project called At What Point? At what point do we figure it out? We'll just call the government Lucy from here on out. Because Lucy keeps snatching that football, and we are a Charlie Brown people. We are a Charlie Brown people, man. So when the vaccine comes out, there are phases that take place during the development of a vaccine, and those phases consist of so many supposedly intricate steps and details within those steps that it's estimated that the average vaccine should take 5 to 10 years to develop. And America's going to put one together in a year or under a year. COVID just hit this year. Y'all already going to come with the vaccine? And some people are saying, well, they already had it. Even if they already had it, why would you trust it? Why would you trust it? What is the status of all the Donald Trump staff members who caught COVID in comparison to his status? Because he seems to have bounced back. But what is the status? I know that Chris Christie, who was at the Rose Garden ceremony, Chris Christie's still in the hospital. Kellyanne Conway got it, right? There are a few others that had it. What's up with Hope Hicks? What's up with Melania? See? Truth Hip Hop said Lucy works like Lucifer. Come on, man. You dropping bombs. We're going to call the government Lucy. And we're going to spell it Luci, like Lucifer. That's right, man. Q Marshall said Bill Gates wanted blacks to be the lab rats. Of course. Because there was a shift in COVID-19 cases, and that shift put blacks as the predominant people who were catching COVID-19. And it's not an accident, but it set the stage to say, okay, well, they're being disproportionately hit by this virus, so we got to get the vaccine to them first. When in fact, black people getting hit by the virus the way it did and the way it just came along was not an accident. Mr. Thurman says typically vaccine development can take 15 to 20 years start to finish. I read that somewhere too. That's a long time, man. Then they got to remix them. Sometimes they'll take a while to develop one. They put it out, not as effective. They go back and remix it. So you trust America that much? You trust Lucy that much? Yep. Everyone has the right to live and be left the F alone, says DFG Christopher Grant says the powers that be are attacking him and his family with direct energy weapons. Let me ask y'all a question. Because we still on COVID. We'll go back to Cameron and Shavin. We're going to bounce around. But Sugar Ginger just said something that made me think. She said, Sugar Ginger, I hope it's a she. I don't want to say it's she if it's a he. But Sugar Ginger said that I hope they don't make it mandatory. If they make it mandatory, it should only be considered mandatory just by the law that they lay out. It doesn't have to be mandatory to you. You have the right to control or determine what goes into your body, into your vessel. Who would refuse a vaccine if they made it mandatory? Who would be brave enough to refuse a vaccine if they made it mandatory, if you're anti-vaccine? Raise your hands. I want to see who got some balls up in here. Even the females, y'all can have balls for one night. Just figurative balls. Who would stand up and deny a so-called mandatory vaccine? How can a government mandate that you put something into your body that you don't agree should be in your body when they are not the ones who created you? What gives them the right to violate God's creation? And what gives you the fear of bowing down if they did make it mandatory? Why would you bow down and punk out to that? It's crazy. Let me see what y'all talking about. Homo sapiens says people died for Lucy's. Yeah. Well, it just wasn't Lucy's in the case of Eric Garner. Lucy's in this case meaning a loose cigarette. Eric Garner died because of dirty murdering police officers that wanted to kill him. Again, no one can justify officers murdering black people when they already have them subdued. He's already under control, cuffed and in custody. Why are you still choking him? In other cases, why are you still beating him? In other cases, why is your knee still on his neck? In other cases, why are they hogtied? Why are you punching them in the face, kicking them in the head? You know why? Because you a dirty, racist cop. And that's part of the reason why you joined the force, so you can get your rocks off on the people that you hate. Shout out to Dominique Official, SS, World Painted. World Painted say we're getting pimped by a freak. Mike Harvey, blessings to your sister. SS, let me see, he did not make it out the hospital. Who you talking about? Yeah. So what's going on today is Derek Chauvin, the officer who killed George Floyd by putting his knee on his neck for 9 minutes almost, he's been granted by the courts to be able to leave the state of Minnesota for his safety. Yet he has a job. He worked a job that made him responsible for the safety of citizens. That's ironic that his job was to serve and what? Protect. Protect means that you are looking out for others' safety, supposedly. So when you violate the principles of protection and they only apply to certain citizens but not to other citizens, then you murder one of the citizens that you are paid taxpayers' money to protect. Why should you deserve safety and protection? He don't deserve protection. It's crazy, man. Do we not see the hypocrisy of this country, man? This country, man, is so hypocritical. Y'all keep hitting the like button, man. Everybody that's in here, stop what you're doing right now. If you haven't already, hit the like button. This country is so hypocritical that they will pass that along as being okay. They pass it along as being okay. And they think that we are stupid enough to not recognize it. This man was killed in broad daylight. It's insane, man. Shout out to everybody who would refuse the vaccine. Just shout out to all of y'all, man. Let me read some comments I missed. DFG says humans aren't easy to kill. We're not dumb like that. I picture myself, NWO, living in the woods. And not to say you personally, DFG, but we shouldn't have to run off to the woods. We shouldn't have to get off the grid, and we should have the right, according to this government, according that's in what's in their laws and the Constitution, we should have the right to just say, nope, I'm good. I don't want the vaccine. Mike Smith says vaccines are the true mark of the beast. Now I'm going to tell you why he's telling the absolute truth. This particular vaccine that I just came into the knowledge that they are developing, and when I heard about some of the technologies that are going to exist within this vaccine and what it's going to be capable of doing, and none of it has to do with protecting you from a particular virus. It has to do with controlling you through your DNA. That's absolutely the mark of the beast. Absolutely the mark of the beast. D-Dub in the building. Mike Harvey. Mike Smith, Reg Junkie. First Ward Mex. What's up, First Ward? I ain't seen you in a minute. Wise Media. And President Trump just said, we're not talking about the actual President Trump. We got somebody in the chat named President Trump. So I want to make the distinction. You made a good point. You said that polio never went away. It was just renamed. I read an article that said that polio is the only known disease in history that was 100% successfully eradicated through vaccinations. But I also read what you read, or wherever you got the information from as well, that polio and a couple of others, if I'm not mistaken, like you say, were not eradicated. They just renamed them. And they got credit for being wiped out by the vaccine. Wise Media says, I can't believe I was right about Trump sponsoring a cure being blessed from God. Donald Trump did say that him catching COVID was a blessing from God. I haven't had time to just break down and think about that statement to pull the facts out of it, because there's some truth in what he's saying now. We can't be surface dwellers. We can't just look at what he says and get outraged at the surface of it. There's some truth in what he's saying about it being a blessing from God, from him, for him to get it, if indeed he got it. But Trump is a slick dude. And please believe that everything that he does is for the benefit and the upliftment and the financial, political, social gain of Donald Trump and Donald Trump only. Don't be delusional to think that this guy cares about you. He cares about himself, and he looks out for the rich. See what y'all talking about? We'll put this under the category of Shavin, where Homo sapien is saying. So Eric Garner was selling Lucy's at the store, and that bastard Pantaleon or whatever his name is, that's the police officer, tried to sue for his job. That's the arrogance. You killed a man and you mad. You feel like you got wronged. You feel like you were treated unjust. Now you killed this man, took this man's life on camera, and you have the arrogance in your privilege to feel like I was treated unjust. How dare you fire me for killing this man unjustly? Insane, man. Insane. So we bouncing around, man. The subject is the 3 C's today. Daniel Cameron, COVID-19, and Chauvin, who is Derek Chauvin, the cop, one of the cops who killed George Floyd. Like I said, Meg Thee Stallion put Cameron on blast on Saturday Night Live, and I'm assuming that Saturday Night Live, by still being a pretty popular show, that millions and millions was watching as she busted it. And she did it so smooth because she was going through her regular performance like it was just a regular performance. Then right in the middle, gunshots. Bah, 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 bah. And then all you heard was Malcolm's voice talking about the disrespect of the black woman. All you heard after that was Tamika Mallory's voice talking about Daniel Cameron and how big of a sellout he is. They didn't see that coming. I wonder if Saturday Night Live even knew that she was going to do that. Because if they knew, I wonder if they said, okay, go ahead and do it. Or if they knew, they would have went, nah, I don't think we should do that. I don't think that would be a good look. I'm really curious to know if Saturday Night Live knew that was part of her routine. If they knew it and they let it ride, then I applaud them for that, because it's surprising. But if they didn't know it, then good move by Megan, because the show is called Saturday Night Live. So if they're still living by those principles, then it was a live performance. It wasn't pre-taped, supposedly. And if they had a problem with it, there wouldn't have been anything they could do unless they would have chosen to just cut the commercial. But it was too late, and that would have been a hypocritical, bad look. So it went through. So shout out to Megan, man. Much love to everybody that's on here. Y'all keep hitting the like button, man. I jumped on earlier, and my stream got bumped. So we came back a little weaker than we started. Much love, Ben Chanity. Y'all have a great day. DJ Big Red 210, what's up, my brother? I see you in the building. Johnny Robledo said he'd never take a vaccine. What's up, Isaiah McCabe? I didn't see you. Yes, sir, I did hear that. Exactly what you're saying. Ronnie Ricci, good night, man. I know you in Germany? So yeah, it's three in the morning out there. So I know you got to get up. I usually do late night streams, but I don't like y'all to be at work cussing me out. Wise Media asked the question, why did they show so much dirt on George Floyd's past but nothing on Shavin when he was the killer? Because those who control the narrative do just that. They are the ones who paint the picture and the traditional history of this country as it relates to black people being unjustly murdered, and they know that the murder is wrong, then they go, uh-oh. So the next tactic is to start digging up dirt on the actual real victim, and then they place this stuff out in the media to say, well, in this year he did this. 5 years ago he did time for this. And they pull up the man's past as if his past is a pass for the officer to kill him. It's a justification, and we fall for it every time. We even see black people getting up, people like Candace Owens that get up and the first thing they start doing is spewing out negativity about the past of a victim, and that implies that they deserve to die. But Chauvin got a history too. Chauvin is a crooked cop with a strong, rich history of crooked activity as a police officer, but they're not going to bring that out because the motive is to keep police officers in a positive, always right type of light. The cop is never wrong. When they come up before the media and make their statements, they always speak in ways that lean towards the justification of what the officer's actions was. They do it every time. It's a pattern. The first thing they do, dig up some stuff. When they kill one of us, okay, check their records. Breonna Taylor, she dated drug dealer. She did this, she did that. And a lot of times it'd be false. But even if it's true, what does that have to do with this particular case? Because if we start going by people's past, determining what deserves to happen to them, and that's why America's getting what they're getting right now. Because God's going by America's history. See? Galen made a great point. They're like showing Trayvon Martin with a joint. Any little thing they can find. Here's him smoking marijuana. So, Eric Jackson said that's why we need our own media outlets. True indeed. We need more than that. We need our own nation. We don't even need to be in this no more. See? DW713 says, what do these higher-ups gain from being racist? They gain a lot because when you say higher-ups, I'm going to take you all the way back. I'm going to take you back 460 years. And there were higher-ups who were in charge of bringing black people to America to build an entire nation for them free of charge, which generated wealth on top of wealth on top of wealth. So this is what they gained from being racist. Centuries of free labor, generational wealth for their families, not to mention the fact that it's just in their nature to do so. The Keyshawn Petgrave Show says Joe Biden and Trump are both the same monster. I could not agree with you more. I totally agree. I heard that Shavin and George Floyd worked security at a business together. And that makes it even worse. Because now you had a grudge and a vendetta for whatever reason. All that should be taken into account in a courtroom, right? We'll see if that's admissible. Pork rinds. Stop eating them pork rinds, man. Power is what they gain. World Painter said, as a Hispanic, I'll find another place too. Let me tell you something. World Painter, they stole a lot of y'all's land. Or your origins in Mexico? Because you're saying Hispanic. If your origins are in Mexico, I'm living on your land right now that they stole. I'm in Tejas. Right next to Tejas is Arizona, in New Mexico, in California, Nevada. They stole all that from y'all. The new name for the government, y'all, is Lucy. L-U-C-I. Short for Lucifer. And short because the government keeps holding that football out for us to kick. And we keep thinking that Lucy's going to let us kick it like Charlie Brown, and they snatch it every time. So Shavin was allowed, y'all, to leave the state while awaiting his trial because they're concerned about his safety. How do y'all feel about if a courtroom finds somebody guilty for unjustly, like a police officer like that? I'm making up some. This would never happen. Maybe in another country. How do y'all feel about a law of saying, you know what, we just gonna turn the killer over to the victim's family? What if they just turn George Floyd's killer, Derek Chauvin, over to George Floyd's family? My only fear about that in a lot of cases with us, not saying with George Floyd, but we so merciful, man. We let him make it. I wouldn't. See what y'all got to say. Tejas, man. Santa Ana. Yeah. Sharp Bus 1127. Send me an email, man. SPCKRINO at AOL.com. Serious inquiries only. I'm going to do a video about features and stuff like that so people know. A lot of people ask me how to get me on songs and all that. Yeah. Keyshawn Petgrave Show says, how can we bring the people together in an age of digital technology forcing us apart? We got to use the technology the right way. Technology is always used to network properly. We are all together right now in this chat because of the proper use of technology. So you all are seeing names of people that y'all don't even know. I'm seeing names of people that I don't know that I'm familiar with from being on my channel, and we're being brought together. So there's good ways to do it and there are bad ways to do it, but we have to use the technology and the resources that are available to us to our benefit and not to our detriment. We use social media and things like that for the stupidest reasons. We're so immature, not you, brother, but just in general, we're so immature, we're so mentally sick that we don't have the understanding of the time that we're in and how important it is to use these things to make us better. Because we feel like we can just jack around forever. Jane No Saint, what's going on? We called the government Lucy because I was like, we keep letting ourselves get tricked like Charlie Brown and kicking that football, and Lucy keeps moving the football. So Lucy represents the government, but we spell it Luci for Lucifer. Yeah. Center Texas in the building. Dirty Diamonds, man, you late. What's going on, man? KO, I see you. KO in the building. Soul Word is 713. You late too. We talking about Shavin, Cameron, and COVID. The 3 C's. Master Debater says Black Lives Matter is a democratic joke. I spoke on this another time. Let me say this about Black Lives Matter. When I talk about Black Lives Matter, which I rarely do, you rather hear those words come out my mouth. And not because I don't believe in those words, but because I don't like to get into the debate about the principle of the words versus the organization. Because a lot of people get it confused. If you talk about, like I said in another video, George Soros's funded organization, his manipulated, puppeted organization, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying in principle, just those words, Black Lives Matter. And do you understand how much Black lives really matter? Do the racists who are opposed to hearing the words Black Lives Matter, do they even understand how much Black lives actually matter? Think about that. And the reason why I say that is because I got to give a history lesson. Black people are the original people on the planet. So anybody else that hears me say that, don't get in your feelings, just do the research. Because it's not being said to offend anybody. It's being said to make you understand the actual facts. This is a scientific, genetic fact that has been verified by scientists of all races, scientists from all different regions of the planet. It is a fact. Black people are the original people on the planet. There were no people in existence prior to black people. The very people who hate black people so much, these white supremacists, these militia groups, the presidents of the United States, their very existence is rooted in the genetics of the black man and the black woman. So you, at the very least, having that knowledge, you should know, you should feel like Black Lives Matter, because if they didn't matter, your life wouldn't exist. So black life should really matter to you. But they don't know that history. And those that know that history, they're not going to tell it, they're not going to admit to it, but you can't argue with science. You can't do it. The black man's the original people on the planet. So black life don't matter, then you don't either. DNA has proved everything. You're absolutely right, Mike. So Master Debater said it doesn't make black superior. First of all, who said that? Whose mouth did that come out of? Because those who really think they are superior, that's who I'm talking about. It makes us original. So the word superior came out of your typing hand and your mind. And a lot of times they'll say that. But just because you're original doesn't make you superior. Who said that? Is that how you feel? Is that claim of saying it doesn't make us superior coming from an inferior complex in your mind? I'm just speaking the facts. I'm just speaking to say that it's retarded to disrespect a people who are responsible for your existence. The nerve. See, I'm showing y'all something now. Teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let me give the credit from where I learned this from. Let me not sit up here and act like I made this up. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad ain't told no lies. He said the black man is the original man. And many of us who never heard that before were like, what does that mean? But research will get you there. And I ain't talking about just black folks' research. I'm talking about white scientists, white archaeologists who can find remains, who have found remains 3 and 4 and 5 million years old that when brought back to the lab and they do the due diligence, this was a black woman that was 3 million years old. And guess what? Because I'm all off subject now, but we talking about it. Guess what? The black woman that was 3 million years old, she's a baby. How can somebody 3 million years old be a baby? How can some 3 million year old remains still be a baby? You know how? Because we've been around far longer than that 3 million years. There were black people on the planet 3 million years before her. And 3 million years before that. We go back trillions of years. So teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm just saying. Let me give y'all some shout outs. Mr. Arborell, God's earth is flat and NASA is fake. Hey man, where the flat earthers been during all this stuff, man? Because y'all came on, y'all jumped on my head. I'm talking to the flat earth people real quick. I gotta address this. When I made my song called Flat versus Globe, I did everything in my power, in my knowledge, to try to write that song as evenly matched as I can to pose the argument on both sides based on what I know, right? The last line that I said on that song was, I said, round or flat, there's more important things that we need to be worried about. A lot of fools came out. I'm calling you a fool, not as a disrespect, but because you spoke foolish. And they came out saying that line in the song was a ridiculous line for me to say that there's more important things to be worried about than arguing over if the earth is flat or if it's round or a globe. So fast forward to 2020, COVID-19, police brutality spiking through the roof, wildfires, hurricanes, all manners of calamity taking place in this country and in this world. Was I wrong to say that it's more important things that we need to be worried about than if arguing over if the earth is flat or if it's a globe? How is that argument going to benefit and improve the conditions of this collapsing world that we living in. So how is the flat globe argument benefiting us in 2020? I need the flat earth people to explain that to me right now. How is the earth being flat saving lives right now? How? I've been waiting for this moment, but I had to see a flat earther to remind me. How is the earth being flat combating racial injustice? How is it fighting COVID? How is it curing COVID? How is it putting out wildfires? Is it stopping hurricanes? So my last line in that song was, flat or round is more important things we need to be worried about. This was before 2020, because a lot of these same issues, except for COVID, was still in place at that time. So how, flat earth, where you at, flat earth? Because y'all made it to where nothing is more important going on in the world right now than the earth being flat. That's the most significant topic and issue existing on the planet today, is that the earth is flat, and we need to be putting all our focuses on revealing this great truth that the earth is flat and nothing else matters. Everything is a lie. Everything is intertwined in that very principle. That's BS. Explain to me how the earth being flat is going to save this world. Poverty, crime, police brutality, racism, child molestation, and pedophilia. The earth being flat is going to save us from that. Let's focus on the earth being flat. And that'll stop a grown man from fondling a little child. Get the hell out of here, man. Crazy. Now, if it matters to you, if that matters to you more than all the things that I just mentioned that's going on in the world, I'm going to need you to really go stop what you're doing right now. Go look in the mirror and question your whole existence, because you are wasting a lot of time, whoever you may be. You're wasting a bunch of time, because there are things that you could be actually doing to help make life better for people, that can improve and help the world more than going around passing out flat earth pamphlets in the middle of a pandemic. Yeah, I know that your mother just got COVID and your friend died from COVID, and it's a pandemic, and we all walking around here wearing masks and scared to adapt to our friends and family. I know all that's going on. People are dying and getting super sick, and having, even those who don't die, having lingering effects. I know all that's going on, but let me get this pamphlet about the earth being flat. Raise your hand if that's the stupidest thing you ever seen in your life. If you feeling where I'm coming from, I'm like the preacher now. I need a witness. I need a witness. Because I never had my moment to really go in on these cats. And I wouldn't have said nothing if 3 or 4 people, it wasn't a lot, but if 3 or 4 people wouldn't have actually tried to critique that line when I said flat or globe is more important things to worry about. Somebody told me I was crazy for saying it's more important things to worry about than the earth being flat. Plum, Bum, Stud, Muffin, thank you for the donation. Hey, look, I got my super chat up now, so if y'all want to drop a donation on your boy, I appreciate it. You're not obligated. Do not care about the shape of the planet. Grateful you exist on it. And I've had the chance to listen to learn from a man who actually wants to help people. Respect from See, the first line of what you said says, do not care about the shape of the planet. Just be grateful that you exist on it. True words. Be grateful that we exist on it. I done got all the way off the topics, but I think we covered them a little bit. So yeah, we'll rock with this the rest of the way out, because I did say we would touch on those subjects and then we would open it up to freestyle, to freelance. Gil Edwards, you crazy. Telequacker, Dirty Diamonds, Galen, Adrian. It's funny, man. Let me see, Sheila. What's up? Accepting who I am. That's right. Sheila said, I watched that footage of him killing George Floyd. I was so upset. Just the look on his face was pure evil. He was like a bit. Oh yeah, he was getting his rocks off. He was loving every minute of it. All 8 minutes and 46 seconds of it. He loved it. And you got to understand, when you a dog, let's talk about dogs for a minute. If you've ever seen a dog in public, a dog will take a piss wherever he decides he wants to take a piss at. If the dog got to take a dump, he'll take a dump wherever he decides to take a dump. He has no shame. Doesn't care who's looking at him. Don't care who watching. The dog don't try to cover himself up while he pees. He don't hide behind the fire hydrant. If the dog wants to, excuse my graphic nature, but I got to make an example. If a dog wants to lick himself, the dog don't walk around the corner to make sure that nobody sees him so he can do it. He just doesn't care who's there, right? That's who Derek Chauvin is in these cops. In broad daylight, they didn't care who was watching. He's a dog. There's another clip that I put on my Facebook page that showed it from a different angle, from the angle of the body cam of the other officer named Officer Tao, or whatever his name is, and it's showing the citizens going in on, hey man, get off him, get off him, get off him, and they still didn't do it. He didn't care that there was 10 or 15 people watching him, because he's a dog. And dogs don't have any shame, and the dog is controlled. A dog is an animal, and like all animals, they're controlled by their appetite. So he had an appetite for murder, and he was digging it. He couldn't stop. He had to get him one. DW713, appreciate the donation, man. What's up, Google account? Danielle Mott, RTV. Dirty Diamonds, Jordan Thomas. Ignorance, people, do your homework. Cave eyes right there, advice. Yeah, I mean, Bahashem Yeshua. Shout out to my Hebrew Israelite family. No, Gil Edwards, that's one of the members in the chat. His name is You Crazy. So I just shouted him out right after I shouted your name out. I'm not saying that you're crazy. His name is You Crazy. Cody Kennett, the world is a stage. Is that Gabby OG or Gaby OG? Much respect. Henry Bankshaft. I'm trying to shout out some of the people that I haven't shouted out in these few minutes. Y'all hit the like button as you come in, man. We're going to set on fire for a few more minutes. Then I'm going to let y'all get to the game. Because your big brother I haven't even ate yet. So, the Bryant Sport System. That's between a politician and political terrorists. And that's political terrorism. Yeah, man. But the thing is, politicians on certain levels, especially on like a national level, when you talk about the presidents, They are all involved in terrorism. The police officers are absolutely domestic terrorists. Derek Chauvin is a domestic terrorist. But guess who else is a domestic terrorist? This one gonna throw you for a loop. Daniel Cameron is a domestic terrorist. He's a black attorney general in the state of Kentucky, but his trickery with the grand jury to render that decision that these officers don't get charged and the other one gets charged with some BS, that is domestic terrorism. That's terrorism. Because this young lady's family has to cope with the fact that they have been denied any possibilities of justice for their daughter who was murdered. They killing her over and over again. Killing her over and over again. So I'm going to get out y'all way, man. We've been on here an hour and 20 minutes. I didn't realize we've been on here this long, man. But y'all continue. Y'all hit that like button before you go. Those who wanted to holler at me, like I said, for work, SPCKRINO at AOL.com. Jamarcus South, grind mode. Yeah, y'all go watch my new video. It's called It's Real Out Here. I'm going to reveal what new video I'm going to do next week. I'm going to reveal that. I'll do a video tonight and let y'all know which video I'm going to do. So, see y'all when I see y'all, man. Much love, and I appreciate the conversation because y'all always give me more ideas to speak on. I appreciate that, man. Much love, man.